Landscaper is designing the garden. The length of the garden is to be 5 feet long. So, again, I would like to, I really like to always convert the words into mathematical expressions as soon as I see it, as long as I see them. Like, um, the moment I see like anything, any information given, I like to write it down so that I know the information. And so if you did that, then you have length garden is equal to be 5 feet long then width, so width plus 5. And again, I said when you see that, you put the or in this case it's a math, it's addition. But always good to have that practice. And so you're saying its area will be 4 square feet. What will be the length of the garden? So you're saying that. So again, we're converting this into mathematical expressions, right? So in this case, you have the area, length. So we're finding length. Okay? And again, this is a systems of equations. Why? Because okay, area can be converted, can be denoted by width times length because it's a rectangular garden, right? A rectangle, to find areas, length times width. So the area of the garden, should give us to be 104. You can also say that the length times width is equal to 104, and we have the other equation, that equation. We have this equation, we have this equation, and now we just solve for length. So to solve for length, we can use substitution. W is equal to length minus 5, u minus subtract 5 on the sides. So, and so you basically have length times the width is substituted for that. Length minus 5 is 4. Or other words, length squared minus 5 length minus 104 is equal to 0. Because you subtract 104 sides. And now what you want to do is one factor this, right? You could use project formula, which maybe it might take a long time. Because 104 is a big number. So another way is maybe you can try like factoring the expression. So like on the left side, so basically how to factor it, you would have to like get two factors of negative 104 that add up to negative 5. So 104 by itself, when you get negative 5, when you have a negative c, because this is c, when you have a negative c, you wanna find two numbers that subtract to get to negative 5. That's the same thing as saying like you're finding a positive and negative integer or number that add up to the b. In this case, it's 5, negative 5. So let me just show you. So 104 can be divided by 4. That's already known. So divide by 4. And you get 26, right? 26, 4. But these two did not subtract to negative 5. For example, if you put a negative sign on 4, you add together is 22. If you add the negative sign to 26, you get negative 22. You're not gonna get 5. So when you try another factor, how do we find another factor? We can distribute this. So this can become 13. So another ordered pair of factors could be 13, 8. Why? Because we just divided this by, we just moved the 2 from 26 to the 4, because 26 divided by 2. I mean 13 times 2 equals to 26, and we just move that to 8. If you multiply this out, you get the same answer. You get 8 times that, you get 104. And so these do have a difference of 5, and that's great. So now we need to know which one to place the negative on. So we need a negative 13 to have the negative. So you would have length, let's say minus It's 13. If you don't know how to factor, I recommend looking at videos on how to factor, or if you are still confused, you can leave a comment and down below, and I can go through how to factor in future videos more in depth. Uh, yeah. And so now you have this with 0, so length has to be equal to 13 or -8, but this is a length garden. It's real life, so you can't have a negative length of garden. So the answer has to be 13 as the length. And double checking, they're asking for length. So it's good. Could we have also used decimals? Of course, that would have been much easier. Um, so if we denote length as y, we have y equals 5 for the first equation that they give us. The second equation, area is equal to 1/4, is xy equals to 1/4, length is y. So we don't want -1, 1 positive. Yeah, 8, 13, y is length. So length should be 30, length should be 13. This one's probably easier to graph it. Yeah, but our answer was right. Next. So 7, in a study of cell phone use, 799 random US teens were asked how often they talked on the cell phone about their texting behavior. The data are summarized in the table above, based on data on the study. An estimate of the percent of US teens who are heavy texters is 30%, and associated margin of error is 3%. Which of the following is a correct statement based on the given margin of error? So this one, I think, just vocabulary. So basically, the margin of error, you need to know what that is. So the margin of error is basically like the margin that you're confident on. So think of like standard deviation. That's like the if you're confident for one standard deviation, you're very confident in 1 mean away from the mean. I mean, one standard deviation from the mean. So in this case, like, okay, in this case, you're given this data, and they're saying based on data, say that's heavy textures is 30%. Heavy textures is 30%. So they're saying 166 over 415 is equal to 30%. Okay, cool. And then we have the associated margin. There it is, 3%. And so basically, uh, oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. So you have a 3% margin of error, which means you have like 3%, uh, 3%, uh, like confidence away from like the 30%, and because your estimated value is 30%, right? But your margin of error is 3% away from it. So 30% is the middle. You're confident in the range of 27%. Or 30. And so this is the range that you're confident in. That's the meaning of margin of error of your study. So these values you're confident in, and so we can get the answer. They're asking for what is the correct statement about margin of error. Approximately 3% of teams classified as are not really texters. Well, that's not true, right? We know that 30% are, and we're just saying that uh 30% is like it's anywhere from 27 to 33%. So it cannot be 3%. 3% is like way over. It's not it is not possible that the percent of all US teams who are predictors is less than 27%. The margin of error is not saying that it's definitely not. It's just saying that it's most likely not. That doesn't mean that it cannot be. So A and B are both ruled out. C, the percent of all US teams for heavy textures is 33%. Again, we're saying it's most likely. This is like a study, right? It's not confirming anything. It's a survey, right? Um, yeah, it says they're asked, and that means it's a survey. So that doesn't account for every single population. It's not like affirmative. That's why they have the margin of error. That's based on how confident they are on their prediction within this margin of error rate, of range. It's not affirmative, but it's most likely. If it says most likely, then that would be right. D is doubtful that the use teams of all sorry. It is doubtful that the percent of all use teams who are heavy textures is 35%. 35% is outside our range, right? It's greater than 33%. So that is the region that we're saying, oh, it's not likely to happen. Yeah, so that's correct. Yeah. All right. Number 8. Same 20 contestants on each 3 days answered 5 questions in order to win the prize. Each contestant received 1 point for each correct answer. The number of contestants receiving a given score on each day is shown in the table above. No contestant received the same score on 2 different days. If a contestant is selected at random, what is the probability that the selected contestant received a score of 5 on day 2 or day 3, given that the contestant received a score of 5 on 3 days? So these are, I think, probability questions. So I will look at, yeah, probability of the selected contestant to receive 5 on day 2 or day 3. So whenever it says given, um, the given should give you a hint that that's the denominator of the fraction of the probability, because the probability is like say you want to find the probability of apple being red and a pile of apples with 3 apples being red and 2 apples being blue. So you want to take it over the total amount, right? So that would be 3 out of 5. In this case, they're saying that given that the contestant received a score of 5 on all 3 days, means that that is the uh, the total that you're taking, right? They're restricting the total to be only that. So we want to find what that is to find a denominator. So what is the amount of people who received a score of 5 on one of the 3 days? Well, we have these, right? Sorry, I meant this. You have this, and they're giving that total of 7. So the denominator has to be 7. Whenever we see given has to be the denominator. They're basically saying what is the probability that the selected contestant receive a score of 5 on day 2 or day 3. Well, if it's saying or, then that means you can do either, right? So you would just add them. So you have 2 and 3, 2 plus 3 should be 5%. And again, if it says and, then that'll be different. But if it says or, then that means either of them works. So you just add them. Yeah, in this case, you just add them. All right, Jennifer bought a box of crunchy grain cereal. The nutrition facts on the box state that a serving size cereal is 3/4 cup and provides 210 calories, 50 of which are calories from fat. Uh, in addition, each serving of cereal contains 180 milligrams of potassium, which is 5% of the adults. It pays the percent of the adults' daily allowance of potassium served by X servings of crunchy grain cereal each day, which is the volume expresses pH effects. All right, so the nutrition facts state that a serving size of the cereal is 3/4 cup and provides 210 calories, which is 50 of them are fat. All right, so 3/4 cup, right? And the question is asking me, and sorry, and we can put other information that we have. All right, so okay, so this is a serving size, as I said, and that gives 180. That's right. So the question is, if P is the percent of an adult's daily allowance of potassium divided by X servings of uh crunchy cereal per day, which is one, which is P times X. So we have the adult's daily allowance of potassium, right? In this instance, it says 5% of the daily allowance for adults. It's that much. Um, so what you want to do is, I think in this case, the numbers don't really matter. You just have 5% of the daily allowance for adults for one serving of cereal. And you know, one serving of cereal is uh has 5%, has 5% of fat, right? Well, actually, that doesn't even matter because they're asking for a servings of cereal per day. They're saying one serving equals to 0.05% of the daily allowance for adults. So, if you just break it down, the question down, like it's trying to trick you with all this information. Like when I saw millimeters, I was like, wait, that doesn't even have any connection to any of these. So these are like all this information. The only information you need to know was the 5% daily allowance for the adults connecting to each serving that they were saying. And each serving means X, right? Because they're saying to note X as servings of country gain cereal. So you have X for every X you have 5%. Uh for every X is 5% of the daily allowance for adults. So you have 0.05X. So that should be our answer. Oh, yeah, I was looking at the answer. And it says B. I was so confused. All right, so it's because I'm sorry. It's because I just realized it's because it says percent. That's why it's 5%. That's why it's 5 instead of 0.05. Because the percent 100% is equal to 1, right? You move the decimal from here 1 2. So to get 1 to 100, you have to move the decimal right here, 2 spaces, which get you 100. So in this case, we have this. We need to convert this into percent. Move 2 decimals. You have 5x equal. That's yours. All right. So last question. Um, a sample of 40 fourth grade students was selected for at random from a certain school. 40 students completed a survey about morning announcements, and 32 thought the announcements were helpful. So in this case, I would write that fraction down. That's the information that they gave us. Yeah, because 32 out of the 40 students that completed the survey. And the question is, Which of the following is the largest population to which the results of the survey can be applied? Um, so we don't, I don't think we need numbers. Uh, but basically they asked the survey in the certain school, right? At random in the school. So naturally, I think the best representation would be of that school. Um, yeah. So that school is the only place that it's relevant. But we also have to notice that it's fourth grade students. So when you look at the study, the environment that was tested in. So if you're tested in like a party, right? A party in Pennsylvania, specifically in a certain city, I don't know, like Kansas town. Um, and so basically that's only applied so that study only applies to that certain party. So it's basically saying like if that party happens again, then that study is most likely is like the most useful for uh that same sample, that different sample at the same location. So you want to look at the study results. I mean, just the study environment that they use. And in this case, they ask fourth grade students at the certain school. So these two are the only information. Oh, sorry. These are only for the only information that they gave us about the study. So when you connect these and answer, so it has to be fourth grade students in the certain school that they serve in. So I think it's B. And yeah, it should be pretty straightforward. It's not the students at school because that's basically saying like so it's basically saying like say you did like a test on fourth graders, right? Or first graders. You're basically saying that if you say that study applies to like 12th graders, that's definitely not true. Like um it's most likely not going to apply to them because they were not used as a sample of the survey, you know? And yeah, that's the questions. All right. Thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment. And yeah, give a like on this video if you enjoyed it, if you learned something new, and subscribe. All right, have a nice day.